This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
We mixed, we loaded, we edited.
Sometimes we get so deep into conversation that we have separate segments worthy of their own place in the sun.
Here is a reshuffled mini episode.
You sure picked a spooky day to go boating, Freddy.
Well, it didn't start out that way. What could have happened?
It's very simple. When the barometric pressure dropped and the warm offshore air came in contact with an inland cold front, we ran into some unnavigable nubulation.
You're right, Velma. Whatever you said.
I said we're lost in a fog.
You buzzed?
No, Shaggy. Go back to sleep.
Stick 'em up! What's the password? The great ape is first rate.
Wait a minute. That sounds like a parrot.
Stick 'em up! What's the password?
What's it mean by give the password?
I don't know. Let's give it a try. 16 men on a pirate's chest?
Let's see. Yo ho ho, blow the man down.
How about yum 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 and a liverwurst a la mode? Wow! What a password! Huh? Scooby, I always knew you were a little Betty. Yeah. Ruby-dooby-doo!
Welcoming from Screams from the Basement.
Already in the basement. We can scream down here. We're allowed down here.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of different uncles who are all cartoon heads, and one of them is like, that was big of them. They're like, yeah, that wasn't much of even a family entertainment. I don't know what that was. And then I had another one who's he loves the original, like Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh stuff. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot. Like, he is very easygoing. He will accept all kinds of changes to different books and comic book adaptations. Like anything from X-Men and Batman to Dark Horse and Hellboy. And he's like, yeah, Disney needs to just sell Winnie the Pooh. Yeah. He was just always, that was the only thing I could get him to fess up and be like, yeah, I hate that cash grab. He was always just the most humble, very guarded with his words, and he just was never discreet if you brought up Winnie the Pooh. And so it is interesting, though, how this is how we learn to be better critics, is just like, instead of just what would I do better or what I liked and didn't care for, is like, let's just sum up like what is overall working and where we think it's going from there. And but yeah, with our favorite cartoons, like, you learn so many writing benefits and other gag kind of relaying. And so if I had to, obviously we're all Hanna-Barbera heads. I had Looney Tunes as one of my picks.
Yeah.
Well, like, I learned all about just the staging, the storyboarding aspects, especially when you would go back on it and learn all the World War II propaganda, but it doesn't matter. It's still funny, regardless of whether you're pro or anti-war. Like, is like, yeah, this guy who's trying to kill Daffy Duck is clearly a Napoleon-type dictator, or this guy who's got Bugs and Elmer in a deal. Like, in fact, that's how I learned about, there's this movie classic that everybody loves and is referenced everywhere called High Noon. Just because I kept watching all the Yosemite Sam ones. Like, Toy Story was a big one for me. I think that is absolutely...
Yeah.
I think it was the second movie I saw in the theater, but it's definitely the first one I remembered. I think the first one was Swan Princess.
Nice, yeah.
And it was like, I see that. I'm 5 years old, maybe 6 if it was on re-release. And I was just like, see, I'm just invested. Like, 1 minute, this is a perilous adventure, like every cartoon, every story. And then there's all these characters are going to change at the end. It's like, one of them's a cowboy, the other's a space ranger, and they're, they're learning that how to survive in an actual real world, different from their so-called toy line fantasy that they supposedly existed in.
Yeah.
It's just so, I guess, meta, for lack of a better word, kind of growing up.
Yeah.
My next one would be Rocky and Bullwinkle. Like that, just
yes, Rocky and Bullwinkle, dude. That
the whole
that
radio. Will they or won't they succeed? Doesn't matter.
Yep.
They still didn't do anything right. It's just that kind of.
Yep. And all the different segments, the side
Peabody.
characters that pop up.
Yeah.
You got Peabody, Dudley Do Right.
I always dug the classical kind of music. Like they would be recreating various paintings. I was always like, "What was that? I need to rewatch that." That's crazy.
Yeah, they do like old Greek myths and things like that, and it just. Oh man, that show was iconic.
That kind of developed the smart ass kind of aspect from a cartoon standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah. I also did a lot of Cartoon Network growing up. Like
Same.
it was
Cartoon
very
Network.
much like Courage the Cowardly Dog was a big one.
That's kind of what braced me for so when I would watch even a more mainstream blockbuster like The Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones or Gremlins, I was kind of, because I'm watching all this, Courage is basically the poor bastard equivalent of Scooby, but he's still just there was just something about his earnest, it's kind of like the whole, it used to be the fathers are the sorry lot kind of thing, like they put up with a lot of grief and everything, is like you gotta just admire a dog who wants to defend his family, who doesn't want to be defended from all these ancient evils, and just the way this stuff would just kind of erupt. You just were like, oh, it's gonna hit the fan. What's happening next?
Well, it was such like a surreal nightmare, and I think
but you were laughing like a maniac. Something
yeah.
Like it spoke to like, as a kid, I didn't realize like, oh, I have anxiety. Like that wasn't something that like anxiety wasn't a thing, like a word that was in my head, but like I'd watch Courage and I'd be like, I feel that like every day.
Yeah. It's like, well, what are you talking about? It's like, it's like X-Files for kids. It's like, why won't you listen to me? Yeah.
Courage might have been my first exposure to like surrealistic imagery on Image. Like it's so, that show is so surreal and so abstract and so out there. It's like sometimes it's as a kid I was like, I don't even know what I'm watching, I don't even know what the story is, but I'm with Courage, I'm terrified.
And that's just it. Like, I think just his it's like if Muttley was just had more drool. He just had
and on the
Courage
other end
he's such a great looking character too. I don't think people talk about the look of Courage enough.
Pink dog,
he's this pink dog, and he has this giant hole through a big, his big tooth in the front of his mouth. He has just a giant circle in the middle of it. I love Courage. He's incredible.
His owner finds him adorable, and and the grumpy husband is like, stupid dog. Yeah. I'll say, there you go. There's how big a geek you are. We can name some of the names. It's great. I was down with that early Nickelodeon. And it's like, because it helped that they did all those bumpers with, much like Hanna-Barbera's, with all the characters all together. So it's like, this is their universe. They would do video games where you could play stuff from each world.
like Samurai Jack.
Yes.
Ed, and Eddie was one of those that
just was my jam.
Ed, and Eddie was like, it was my turn off my brain. Like, this is just slapstick dumb humor, like butter toast and all, I love those characters. And I love the neighborhood kids. There's no adults. It's just, it's almost like,
that's what they would do
Ed,
too.
And Eddie was almost like Peanuts, but on crack. You know what I mean?
It was Peanuts meets Stooges, and that's true too. Like if you look back at certain episodes, like there's very bizarre like trumpets playing. I'm like, what is this? Is this a Tarantino or Jim Jarmusch, dark comedy? What's going on here?
The sound design and Foley work in that show is amazing. There was a tweet that went viral a few years back where someone took the opening incident on the freeway from Final Destination 2, and they edited the sound So it was just Ed, and Eddie sound effects. Like they pulled the sound and Foley work from it. And it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like if you can find it, I totally recommend it. It's so good.
Let me guess. It was probably done through AI.
It might have been. I have no idea, but it was
they did that
funny.
with like The Shining, but they made it look like Jim Carrey saying all the creepy stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I've just always seen just the craziest stuff. Is like people have gone beyond. Is like I don't know how much time you had at work, but that's wild. That's great times. I liked a lot of the early DC Comics cartoons.
Like Batman the Animated Series is just like, it's a classic.
Beyond,
it's a classic.
90s Superman, Justice League,
Teen Titans.
Yeah, Teen Titans for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was a big Rankin Bass guy. How about you guys? Were you part of the stop motion craze?
Yeah, I loved stop motion. Honestly, one of the first theater memories I have is going to see Chicken Run from Aardman.
Oh,
and
I went the Wallace and Gromit route.
Oh yeah, and like I had an art teacher that would play us Wallace and Gromit shorts while we did like our art projects and stuff.
Oh, so you had a way better art professor versus me. Like, just make stuff up. I'm like, I don't know what I want to draw. I've already gotten done doing impressions of different celebs and cartoon characters. Now I don't know what to do. But
I say Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were-Rabbit was also another like Halloween staple as a kid, of watching that every single Halloween.
I saw it in theaters. It was
it's so fun. It's like it's a very good like
same kind of deal. Dog and his dim-witted master, but they like each other. You know, much like Bullwinkle. You know, is the straight man to, the dumb-headed moose who takes everything too literally. You know?
Yes. Well, and like the nice thing about like Curse of the Were-Rabbit is it's kind of an easy way. Like if I had kids and they're not ready for an American Werewolf in London or, any of those like super gory werewolf movies, if you want to introduce them to that mythos, show them Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were-Rabbit, because it's a werewolf movie that has been like much like Zombie Island. A kid could watch that and it'd be fine,
right.
I love that. Yeah. Absolutely. You even have like a church scene where like the Were-Rabbit comes into the church and the priest is horrified. He's eating all the vegetables on the altar.
I was reminded, I don't know I know they apparently did some cartoons of this. Did you guys ever read growing up Bunnicula?
Oh my God, yes. And that show is genuinely funny. Totally, like it's a very tonally different show than the book. Because the book, I remember, like I literally have the book on my shelf. I can see it from where I'm sitting.
I forgot how many we got, but I just always thought that was wild. It's like you have a vampire rabbit who needs carrots and other nectar to stay alive. I'm like, that's wild. Like, how do you even come up with that for kids?
It's funny, but it's also like it captures that like gothic style too. Like I remember reading that as a kid, and I'm like, like I'm not scared by this, but this is creepy. And,
right. And just thinking about it, just not so much what it's doing. Like it's harmless to you, but you're like, what are you doing?
It's just a little unnatural, and
I can't go to sleep because I know my shit. And I actually did get a rabbit recently. Well, nice. Should I say? Let's just say my mother and brother picked it up, and it became part of our lives for since 2016. It is no more, but it was one of those. It's like now I actually am seeing what the animators have been animating all this time in all different cartoons. Is like they do. I didn't realize they actually thumped their feet. I just thought that was just a choice. It's like, no, that's all they do if they reject your food.
The first time you hear a rabbit thumping, like it kind of throws you off. You're like, what the hell is that noise?
What? Sometimes they do it just like they'll hear something else. I'm like, I am, nothing else is playing. And it's just so funny. It's like the music's down. The movie I'm watching is down to an acceptable level. There's no music. What's making you thump? Did you hear something? It's funny having to be sensitive to other creatures who hear something we don't hear at all. Are either of you fans of South Park or the Boondocks?
I mean South Park for sure.
It's like the anti-cartoon, and yet it's still cartoon.
That and like The Simpsons growing up.
Right,
I remember like there were a lot of times where, you know, my parents didn't like me watching The Simpsons especially. But
it's not uncommon. It's funny. It's like there wasn't any bizarrely or risque drawn cartoon. It was just one of those. It's like sometimes people just have a bad feeling, and there was like mild language, but it's harmless. It's just they just were afraid of what they didn't even know. It's I guess.
Right.
I was allowed to watch Simpsons growing up. I remember it was on Fox at 5 o'clock every single day. So as my mom was like cooking dinner, I would sit there and watch 2 episodes of The Simpsons before I would eat supper every single night. But I was not allowed to watch South Park, or at least in front of my parents, I wasn't allowed to watch South Park. Because I remember one time my cousin had the bigger, longer, and uncut DVD. And he's like 2 years younger than me. So he was probably like 8, 9 years old, and I was probably 10, 11 years old.
That's wild.
And we watched bigger, longer, and uncut with my parents, like right in the kitchen in the room next door, and they're like, "Are they okay to be watching this?" And like, yeah, it's a cartoon; they'll be fine. We're just sitting there watching, like,
my mother.
Shut your effing face, Uncle Effer.
I mean, the first opening should give it away. I mean. So my mother, back when she was doing some magazine editing, knew some people. Was like, yeah, we let them watch whatever, anything, Family Guy or whatever. It's fine. It goes over their heads. I'm like, no, it doesn't. And I've seen various threads and forums and happen to know other people and even other podcasters. So let me ask you if you had this experience as well. Did you know people who weren't allowed to watch the cartoon but were allowed to play the video game?
I mean, yeah, definitely.
Or vice versa. You can't play the game and you can watch the show. You're like, it's the same thing.
That was probably more my parents. It was like, my parents had weird, like...
It's wild. It's like they think a game is just mindless. I'm like, you're still got dialogue that you got to listen to. That's part of your mission. And if it's do something hideous to someone, what do you want to say?
I was allowed to play the South Park Nintendo 64 game, even though I wasn't allowed to watch.
Okay, so you were part of the
South Park.
That's
so
wild.
I was playing South Park. Same with, I was allowed to watch Simpsons, but I played Hit and Run all the time on PlayStation. That was the best game. The game's so much fun.
I saw that at Toys R Us, I think, one time, and I'm like, oh, this game's going to explode. It's totally going to be a big hit of the year.
Yep. Oh my God, you unlocked a part of my brain with Simpsons Hit and Run. I totally forgotten about that. That was a fantastic game.
It's Grand Theft Auto with Simpsons characters.
I mean, with all this other there you go. With all the slapstick cartoons we've talked about, like, I'm surprised some of these popular video games, which have kind of SpongeBob or Simpsons kind of DNA in them, haven't become cartoons or animated movies yet. Like, I'm looking at Crash Bandicoot, the success of stuff like Sonic. I was always like, hey, there's this Schwarzenegger character named Tiny, because get it, he's big and muscular. It's it's ironic. They need to actually, if they ever make it, Arnold needs to voice this character. Here comes Tiny.
Yeah.
And in fact, speaking of that, what caricatures do you think you've drawn from like certain cartoons? No pun, but like it's interesting. Is like I would see everything from like W.C. Fields to Jimmy Durante to even just Rat Pack people like Sammy Davis. I'm like, but they were in cartoon form. Elvis, isn't implemented a bunch.
I used to do a lot of Star Wars drawing. Like that was my stuff. I've always been a huge Star Wars fan, and I remember like my cousin at one point, he got the special edition DVD box set that had like a whole disc of bonus features on it.
That was a great disc.
Yeah, and I remember like I went over to his house for one weekend, and we binged all of the Star Wars movies. We binged all of the extras on that disc set. And the whole time we were just like, we had papers scattered around his living room floor, and we were just drawing our favorite Star Wars characters.
There
all
you go, man. Hey,
yeah.
I wish I could have been part of that sleepover.
Yeah.
Instead, everyone wants to watch football or wrestle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't much of an artist as a kid, but the one thing I remember drawing was the boys from Codename Kids Next Door.
Oh yeah,
I remember I drew them as a
character design.
I call that the naughtier version of Ed, Ed and Eddie. Like that's
yeah.
Like they definitely had no supervision. I'm like, they're allowed to be in this damn treehouse all night, man.
Yeah, those
Our
kids were the
protective
coolest.
services is gonna get called any day. But it is well too. Like, it's like it wakes you up to like cartoon logic versus movie logic versus real life logic. You know, everything from the freehand rule to the just cartoon physics. You're just like, yeah, it's a cartoon. Like, there are different rules that I look for here versus in a live action movie where everyone's acting like a cartoon, but the movie's not in on the joke. You know?
Yeah.
There's one cartoon I want to bring up to you guys that it might be my like top 2 or 3 favorite children's animated shows ever. Did you guys ever watch Recess on Disney?
Oh my god!
I did.
Yes,
I love Recess. It is one of my favorite shows ever. I love that show so much. And Recess School's Out, I remember like endlessly rewatching the videotape of that. I love Recess.
Yeah, Recess is a great cast of characters.
Was
and
it a big hit?
Yeah.
Okay, so I only saw some of it along with Doug and Pepper Ann. I was more of a Wild Thornberrys kind of guy. And
Oh yeah, Wild Thornberrys rules. I was big into the Klasky Kuspo stuff, like Wild Thornberrys,
Cat Dog,
Rugrats, Cat Dog, Cat Dog. Just yeah.
I think. Did you ever see Real Monsters? It's like,
I love Real Monsters.
Yeah,
the guy is holding his own eyeballs. I'm like, hey, what happens when he stops holding it? You know?
Yeah. That was a great one. The character designs on that one were amazing. there was one. It was a Saturday morning cartoon that
Angry Beavers.
It's called Fillmore. I do remember Angry Beavers. Yeah, Fillmore. Do you remember this, Casey?
I remember Fillmore. Yeah.
No one fucking remember. Sorry, can we swear on this? I guess I shouldn't. Yeah.
Fuck.
Okay. No one remembers Fillmore.
Yeah. Okay. I saw Fillmore. I got it mixed up with Hey Arnold kind of after a while.
Oh Hey Arnold's a great one too. Like that's so good. But I remember like Fillmore being. You know, he's a hall monitor at his middle school, but everything is played like a straight cop drama. Like everything is so intense. I remember there was an episode where he's going down a steep hill on his bike. He's in pursuit of a criminal and he's going downhill on his bike.
Oh wow.
And he finds out that someone cut the brakes on his bike and it's the most intense thing and it cuts to commercial before he gets to the bottom of the hill.
Making
and I was
fun of the
I was like, oh my God. I remember watching that as a kid, just like thinking it was the most intense thing ever. I loved Fillmore. Loved it. It's so hard to find now, but like you can find bootlegs and rips.
If you know where to look. Was that a Disney show? Right?
It was a Disney show, yeah.
Really?
ABC Saturday mornings, right?
Yep, ABC
so that's where it was. Okay. I couldn't remember if it was Nick or ABC morning. Well that's a deep cut.
It's so good. If you can find episodes of Fillmore, it totally worth revisiting.
Lovely. Yeah. So I was going to give an honorable mention to both Ninja Turtles and Transformers.
Yeah. For sure.
Say what you want about any other live action iteration or even new stuff. Like I'm just always stoked. Like it's a pretty hard to goof up concept for me. I'm just like, it's just fun. Like everyone's been introduced to it in some logic. It was weird. Like Ninja Turtles, you could basically call bootleg Batman. Like, you got a rat named Splinter who's basically their Master Yoda. And I was at my friend's house. We're both movie screenwriters on an indie scene, and we were just in between writing. We were out of ideas, so we just started playing this new remastered Ninja Turtles on the PS5, and we're still guffawing at how it's a send up of the arcade style Ninja Turtles, because that's the other thing too. It was fun as a video game and fun as a cartoon and toy line, but I'm like, why do they keep dying each time they get thrown into the sewer. Like, wouldn't that be a rehealing? Like a Bacta tank or whatever? I'm like, come on, man. Like, I can understand if they trip on their own shell or a banana, but come on. It's got to be some other obstacle. But yeah, Transformers is like, it's not cyberpunk. It's not deep. It's just.
Did you see the new movie Transformers 1, the animated one that just came out
I
last year?
What did you think?
I liked it a lot. I actually thought it was very good. It's a prequel, so you kind of know where it's going.
All I know is it was kind of more human-like for their personas. But what did you think of the cast? Like,
the voice cast is pretty good. The one that I would say probably is the most phoned in is Scarlett Johansson.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, I saw John Hamm as Sentinel. I'm like, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but he does a pretty good job. And I liked Hemsworth as Optimus.
Still have his Thor voice.
Yeah, it's kind of. Yeah.
I am Thor. I'm Cybertron. Oh.
But it's good. Like Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron is just he's fantastic in it.
The man is taking over FX network. Like yeah. All I knew is it was by some of the Pixar guys, like Joshua Cooley had worked on Inside Out and Up, so I didn't.
Yeah,
as well as Toy Story of Terror. Oh,
yeah,
back to horror. Okay,
and that I'd recommend the movie. I liked it a lot. I thought it was pretty beautifully animated. It was a if you know Transformers, like you kind of know where it's going to end up because it's a prequel and it's like setting up all these characters as to where they're going to be.
Fun,
But it is. It's very fun. There's a race sequence about a third of the way through that's like so fun and kinetic and energetic, and I liked it quite a bit.
Sweet.
I also loved the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. They took some liberties with the lore, but all
right.
I just thought it was a lot of fun. And the Trent Reznor Atticus. Yes. Oh, and he's so good in that too. And the Trent Reznor Atticus Ross score is so good. Like the music in that movie is amazing.
I had no idea they did it, but that's okay. So you have sold me. Like I just saw the trailer and was like, okay, whatever. But I'm like, okay.
Yeah, sold. No, I'd recommend both of them. They're both a pretty good time. Yeah.
I mean, half the time I'll get to anything eventually. It's just when you get the trailers oversaturated and kind of in your face, you just kind of wait for the hype to die down and just slowly go into it. Okay. Well, very cool. So they're both on Paramount last to check. So
yeah.
But I didn't know the Nine Inch Nails crew was doing the music, but what else would I want to have a street fight to?
Right? Yeah.
Boom, boom, and then beautiful piano.
Yeah.
Wow. See, it's interesting. It's like when we're looking at cartoons, is kind of like when you see people define what kind of workout they're into, or what kind of sport they follow, or what kind of gambling game they do. It's like when they actually break it down, you understand why they make time for this each and every time. And I think this is it. Like, it's so easy for people to get sick of certain kind of animation styles or be like, I don't really care for this kind of cartoon or animation crowd. And it's like, well, look at a cartoon that did do it well. Clearly you made time for this every Saturday morning when you woke up at 6 and you wanted to watch this. It wasn't
I got up earlier on Saturday mornings than I did for school.
Yeah, that's
right.
True. That's true.
It just, we were ahead of it before we realized it. And if you want, it would be a good parenting tool. It's like, get up, like you're about to miss your favorite show, And I wonder what parents do now that everything can be digitally recorded, or watched on an app.
Right. I know there's something a little sad about the fact that like you can wake up, you don't have to get up at the butt crack of dawn and see your favorite show now. Like you wake up whenever you want and you pull up Netflix, and that's a bummer sometimes.
Right. Well, I'm glad I did the Scooby-Doo chat with you and the other thing, because like its DNA is everywhere, whether it's something like the X-Files or whether it's something just outrageous like Psych. You're just like, you're seeing all these some people like a mixture of both soap and terror, like Supernatural. You're like, it's kind of a buddy formula, you know?
Yeah.
And if Zombie Island makes people want to watch George Romero, like The Real Thing or Sam Raimi, go for it. You know?
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
It is also funny too. Like you see people who are like, I don't like apocalyptic stuff. I don't like zombies. I'm like, I can name a dozen other stuff that you just mentioned you like that has elements of that, whether it's a Twilight Zone episode, whether it's a Star Trek episode. Come on, man. You know,
right.
You like it. You just don't like how it's too depressing, I guess.
Do you know how many people I've heard like say stuff like, I don't like horror, and then I bring up something like Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah,
like, I love that movie. I'm like, that's horror. Like,
the original Terminator is something.
Yeah.
You're just like, if it has a serial killer or a monster in it, it's part of the horror subgenre.
Yep.
Or, yeah, it is like, are Star Wars fans are going to tell me that those zombie stormtroopers in Ahsoka are the
right?
Come on now.
Or even the trash monster in A New Hope, like that's that's a horror scene.
Yeah, it is.
That's 100%. On the edge of your seat. You're as a kid. I'm 9 years old, and I'm like, oh, they killed Obi-Wan, but don't kill the droid.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I watched Ghostbusters, it scared the shit out of me. You know, like
that was wild too. Like we didn't watch it a lot, but that was like a slow burn for us. We were like, yeah, that is a good movie, but I guess we just watched it too young, so we were like, cool effects. Wasn't really laughing, you know, and it was just so funny. We're doing that in a car ride, and my parents are like wondering why we're not laughing all that much. It's just like, you know, because it's kind of like 48 Hours, you know, like people, the first 40 minutes are people getting shot at or murdered brutally, but everybody remembers all the fun stuff, like Eddie Murphy beating up the racists in the bar, you know, it's just same kind of deal. Up here, I'm like, are you enjoying it? And like, and I don't know, we were kind of like in a Mystery Science Theater level. We're like, it's fun, but it's not that we didn't like it. It was just, it was just kind of a visual feast. It just was grim, so we weren't really laughing. But yeah, we've come around to it. It's just, yeah, you kind of just got to be in a mode. It's like, you got to be a Leonard Maltin or a Turner Classic Movie guy where you got to give a summary better than IMDb can do on what you're in for. You know, like, what did this do? You know, like, instead of like roasting cheesy Irwin Allen stuff, you want to actually say, so this is what kind of camera tricks and marketing happened for later blockbusters, good or bad. You know, you got to give some kind of insight, you know, like, why did this movie become a cult hit and now is considered, you know, part of the AFI, you know, film registry. You know, you got to do something instead of just going cold. Like, and it didn't help that when you watch Ghostbusters on VHS, like they did the typical kind of, what's it called? Like, the tracking was very clamped in, like more claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And so I was always distracted by that. I'm like, is this been copied onto another tape and then onto another tape? Yeah, I knew it without even knowing what it was called. I was like, yeah, something's off about the way this is filmed. But yeah, it's also funny too. You see, you know, other fans even like trying to roast each other, like, you don't like this kind of, you know, indie cinema, and then they mention this other stuff. I'm like, why? It's not a contest. You don't have to beat each other up. I see Fast and Furious people teasing Mission Impossible people. I'm like, you guys are part of the same crowd. Come on.
Yeah,
you like really mindless, lowbrow material. And that's the other thing too. It's so funny how it's like they don't know the difference between highbrow and lowbrow entertainment, and there's no shame in that. Like, you can like Full Moon as much as you can something more respectable like The Omen or Hellraiser. You know, it doesn't matter. Like, just like
what you like. Yeah,
you like what you like, but know the difference versus it was boring. I like this. Like, I see vampire people being snobs to each other. I'm like, you like a variation of the same overall premise, which is a blood-sucking creature that's going to bred in a haunted house or turn half its cast into the same kind of, you know, creature that it is. You know, Or you can just watch What We Do in the Shadows. Does that make you happy? Or come on.
Yeah.
It's just, there's no need for infighting. And now that everyone's attacking each other, and there's all these other Stans and Karens. I don't think we need to keep fighting each other.
You're right.
Well, so what does Screams from the Basement got coming up? I mean, you guys are always staying busy, and your YouTube's always got a lot of content.
Yeah, we just recorded an episode on David Lynch. Actually, we covered a double feature of Eraserhead and Blue Velvet.
It feels like he's still here, just because like his work has been so imitated, you know? Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Like,
and he can do what he does best.
Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, we run a couple of we've run a couple of like film fests and things like that, and you know, the amount of short films that I've seen that it's like, oh, this is so clearly trying to be Lynch,
right?
You know, and like. And not slagging on any of those films, because, you know, like every film is
everything's
a miracle, right? Like there's always something.
We just hate the bad copies where they didn't even try.
Right. Yeah. But like, and it's just, you see the influence of him everywhere from a very, from like even the lowest like indie stuff to, you know, stuff that's in the Cineplexes right now.
Someone having a mental breakdown while they listen to cool jazz. You're like,
yeah.
I feel like they might be using Tarantino type budget and dialogue, but it's probably Lynchian in some capacities.
Right. Yeah. He's so pervasive. Yeah. So we've got that episode.
He made being weird cool. Like he just.
Yeah. And we've got What else do we have, Casey?
Casey.
We just did. I feel like my parents named me Casey after Casey Kasem. I should have thrown that out
really
there when we talked about Scooby-Doo, but I really feel like.
Can you still ask them? Are they still here with us?
Oh, they are. But I feel like I'm either named after Casey Kasem or Casey Jones from Ninja Turtles.
You asked
it's one or the other. I'm not going to ask them because I want one of those answers to be true, and I know neither of them are true.
Well, how do you know unless you ask?
Oh, I know. I know. But. What else do we got? We just did an interview with Adam Newman from Round the Decay.
Yeah, that's right.
Adam Newman,
which is a new movie that is in theaters this month. And then we are also have some more awesome double features coming out every Friday on the podcast. We're doing a Valentine's Day one in February to talk about some like romantic horror movies. We're doing Crimson Peak and The Love Witch as our Valentine's Day episode. Nice. Yeah.
Are you guys Return of the Living Dead free fans?
I've
only ever seen the first
Dead 3.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the first 2.
So
yeah,
we might have to we might have to remedy that then. Pardon? Yeah. Okay.
Melinda Clark, you'll be like, I want you. You're a zombie.
Well, that's what happens when I watched the first Return of the Living Dead and saw Linnea Quigley for the first time.
Yeah.
We got a ton of stuff, fun stuff planned. And then we're also throwing, if anyone's in the South Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota area that listens to your show, we're also throwing a horror con in April. Yeah, so we're in the planning stages of that. So we're constantly busy, constantly doing stuff.
Yeah, you just rent like a vendor place, or do you rent an actual theater?
We've got a vendor space. Like we rented out a venue that we're gonna have vendors. There's gonna be some food trucks. We've got some celebrity guests. We actually just got to announce that we're bringing Mark Torgel from the original Toxic Avenger, Melvin the Mop.
Oh my god!
So he's gonna
making
be
Lloyd
there.
Kaufman proud here.
Yeah. So that'll be pretty fun. We interviewed Mark.
Does he actually come up in makeup and everything? He needs to just like carry a mop around just for no reason.
Yeah, I hope he just has a mop. If not, I will provide a mop for him.
Yes, 100%.
He needs to also be like the unofficial usher. Like he's just anyone's just too drunk. He's like, mop the floor with this guy.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We've got Mark Torgel coming to Sioux Falls.
No relation.
We interviewed him on
from Monos.
Yeah, we interviewed him on the pod last year actually, and he wanted one of our shirts, so we sent him one, and he's been wearing our shirts to conventions, and like there was a big Toxic Avenger cast reunion picture that was making the rounds on social media, and he was wearing our shirt, and we were like, "What is this?" Like, that's
too
insane.
Good to be true. Hey, fanfare, baby. Fanfare.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Oh, lovely. Love that kind of stuff. See, this was a fun campy time. It was also
great,
heartfelt.
Yeah.
So, I'll keep you guys updated on when this hits the pod. We'll split up this, partially for Halloween, but I'll try to get the cartoon thing out earlier, and thanks for all you do, and kudos. That's awesome. I applaud anyone who can reserve a fun meetup and unite other people with similar interests, especially I've thought of doing something similar. I just didn't know what the topic would be, but just something besides, hey, let's sign autographs. Let's actually just do a fun Q&A or something.
Yeah.
For someone who's got free time and isn't doing movies anymore.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having us on the pod,
Anytime.
man. It's been great, and had a great time talking cartoons and some Scooby-Doo with you. Yeah.
Oh, we could talk about Scooby-Doo all day long. This was awesome. So thanks for having us on, and thanks for allowing us to indulge in our childhood core memories that were unlocked with like Fillmore and Recess and
absolutely, man. It was a fun email. You've been planning it. It was like back and forth. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then let's do both. Split it up. All right. Well, Godspeed to you. Hope the weather's treating you right. Hope you're staying safe in your community, and hope work doesn't overwhelm you.
Yeah.
Hey, thank
same
you.
For you, man.
Same to you.
I'm trying. I have cured my insomnia by doing just a quick at-home workout. It's amazing what a few resistance training does.
Hell yeah.
Get my sanity back. 1 year at a time.
There you go.
Right.
All right.
All right.
There's more fun along the horizon, and I'll let you know if there's some other shows where I'm like, oh, you guys got to check this out, or you got to be on their show.
Cool. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. Let us know. We love connecting with other podcasts.
I mean, I've had Dads from the Crypt on myself. I just couldn't believe all the unofficial interviews they were doing, and it was just so touching having all these people who worn so many hats, done so many genres. You're just like, see, these are the kind of stories they need in film school, instead of here's how to do, your favorite filmmaker on a budget. It's like, no, just people need to learn how to be original and speak the language and get people to trust them. That's what I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead of this, I can make it like a Michael Mann movie, but it's for $50. I'm like, be you. Be inspired, but be you.
Yep. 100%.
And don't waste people's time.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, tra-la-la.
All right. Thank you again. We'll be in touch. See ya.
Avoid the aliens. Because aliens.
We'll return after these messages.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win. On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Brentfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and foodie debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's Brentfast time. Listen at Brentfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
Welcome to the Better Call Daddy Show, the #1 podcast where we admit, no matter what happens, Daddy has the advice we need to fix our problems.
Introducing my dad, Mr. Wayne Friedman.
That was good. It would be nice if you could also sing a song.
What would the song be?
You love Paris in the springtime. I just made up some words to it.
I love Rena in the springtime. I love Rena in the fall.
That's right. That's good enough.
What I do is interview people of interest, share it with my dad, and get my dad's advice. My dad is my hero. Nobody's got my daddy.
Oh boy, let's go to Grandpa.
You like to be a little rebel. I tried to rein you in. I have a daughter named Rena that acts just like I did. She's got a son that is not only just like me, but it's just like her.
I'm your host, Rena Friedman Watts.
Invite your friends, subscribe, and I'm excited to take this journey with you.
Let's dive in.
She was teasing this guy with this sword, and she accidentally cut his dick.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
And then he started to enjoy it.
I started going down the phone sex rabbit hole. You've got the wankers, and they jerk off in 5 seconds, and then they're done because A, they don't want to spend money, and B, they're quick.
My stepfather had mania. If I'm yelling at one of my kids, that fear, that rigid fear.
Mom even said to me, I hope you have a kid just like you.
There are lots of people that are being bought and sold right now for profit.
If you think you're going to kill yourself, shut up and kill yourself. If you're not going to kill yourself, then shut up, smarten up, and it's all on you. The bullshit has to end.
Wow.
When I was 11 years old, I was raped and molested over the course of a year.
What Jeffrey Epstein had was a sickness inside of him.
I am Evan Castrilli Carmichael. I could do anything that I believe that I can.
I'm so excited too. Let's go.
Next on Better Call Daddy with my mom and my grandpa.
Stay tuned.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening. It's a jacked up